Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Chico in Northern California to revisit Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, one of America's really kind of pioneering craft breweries, as many of you might know. And we're going to have a taste of one of their Christmas beers today. So this is the Celebration Fresh Hop IPA, which comes in at 6.8%. This is the very first time I'm trying this beer actually. They do release a new edition of it every year, but it comes in at 6.8%. It's rated 98 overall on Rate Beer and within the style, so it should be pretty good. And of course we do know that Sierra Nevada are pretty damn good when it comes to most beer styles, so definitely looking forward to this one, and I hope you guys enjoy the review. There's quite a lot of beers from these guys, so there's still a lot of them that I still need to review, so always cool to return to them. But anyway, as always with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Sierra Nevada reviews I've done before. No doubt there will be more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beer from different countries, as well as the sake and whiskey reviews and other things that are on the channel. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support of the channel is hugely appreciated. And please do in particular recommend some other Californian beers that I should have a look at. We're starting to get more and more of them over here in Sweden now. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Sierra Nevada then. So these guys were founded back in 1979 in Chico in California, when the founders Ken Grossman and Paul Camusi decided to expand their home brewing hobby into a fully commercial brewery. And these guys, like I mentioned to you, are really considered one of the pioneering craft breweries over in California. So Ken Grossman actually learned to homebrew from a friend's father at a very young age, and in 1972 he went on a cycling trip with some friends in the northeastern part of California, stopping off in Chico to visit some friends who were at university there, and it was there that he really fell in love with the town and the culture, so he decided to move there and set up shop. So in 1976 he opened a homebrew supply store which was called the Home Brew Shop, and he and fellow homebrewer Paul Camusi got deeper into craft brewing. So in 1979 the pair actually founded a small scale brewery, taking the name from Ken Grossman's love of hiking in the nearby Sierra Nevada mountains, and they created their first brewing equipment mainly out of recycled dairy equipment, quite a common theme for breweries actually, and they made a lot of it themselves and completed it in 1980. So in 1983 Sierra Nevada opened their portfolio with 3 beers. This was the Pale Ale, the Porter and the Stout, all of which are still available incidentally, and they also produced the 10% Bigfoot Ale, which is one of the first examples of a barley wine actually that came out of the craft beer world, and this is really considered a kind of cult classic and one of the first examples of what they call extreme brewing over in America. But in 1984 they purchased a new 100 barrel copper kettle from Germany, but they actually couldn't afford to install it for another 3 years. So in 1987 they purchased their plot on 20th Street in Chico, and this would house this kettle from Germany, and this location has been the home of the brewery ever since. And in 1989 they opened the doors to the tap room on the site of the brewery. So the brewery produced their first wet hop harvest ale in 1993, and that same year they also hit the 100,000 barrels of beer brewed per annum mark, which is quite an achievement actually. That's always a big milestone for craft breweries. But the brewery further expanded in 1997, unveiling a new 200 barrel Hupman brew house with the coppersmith that produced the original 1,000 litre kettle from Germany actually. And they actually were called out of retirement to produce this thing, which is pretty cool. But Paul Camusi retired in 1998 and sold his share of the brewery to Ken Grossman, and they also added a 350 seater auditorium at the brewery site in the year 2000, and in 2005 they added a beer research lab which was built to the exact kind of scale dimensions of the brew house. So even in these kind of later days, or in the early days actually, these guys were one of the first breweries to really kind of experiment and to really get into the art of actually looking at the science behind beer actually. So in 2008 the brewery introduced the event called Beer Camp, which is where restaurant owners and other people come together at the brewery for a hands-on experience of brewing, and this has since become a regular event. This is where you get the Beer Camp beers being produced, so you'll always get a few beers released every year under this Beer Camp name, and they always tend to be quite good actually. But the company celebrated their 30th anniversary in 2010, and since then they've actually formed a partnership with the Abbey of New Clairvaux in Northern California, and it's there that they've been producing producing some of the Trappist style beers, although the Abbey is not officially certified by the International Trappist Association, so the beers are sold as Trappist style beers rather than Trappist ales. They have to wait for that certification, of course, until they can use the term Trappist ale. But they also have a second brewery now in Mills River, North Carolina, and also their Torpedo Room tasting room, which is in Berkeley in California, of course, a famous university town. But interestingly, the brewery is powered completely by solar energy since 2007, and they actually won the Green Business of the Year award from the US Environmental Protection Agency in 2010, and 99.5% of their solid waste is diverted from landfill, and they use biodiesel in their delivery trucks, and they sell the excess grain to cattle farmers and things like that. So they're a very environmentally conscious brewery. That does seem to be a theme both in Colorado and in California. But these guys have also had the same head brewer since 1983, when they were producing 25 to 30 barrels a week, which was 13 to 1500 barrels per year, and now the production is 780,000 barrels per annum. But I think that figure was taken before they opened the facility at Mills River. But these guys have got a huge production these days, but they still kind of embrace the whole spirit of the craft beer movement. But yeah, that's enough about Sierra Nevada for the moment. We'll move on to the tasting section of the video then. So this one, just to mention the other core range beers from the brewery, they've got their Pale Ale, their Porter Stout, the Torpedo Extra IPA, which probably is my favourite one from the brewery, and they also have the Kellerweis Hefeweizen. And like I said, they've got various seasonal beers. They've got the Trappist beers produced at New Clairvaux, and they've got the hop harvest ones, they've got the beer camp ones, and all of this sort of thing. So there's always something new coming out of Sierra Nevada. But anyway, let's actually get a taste of this beer then. So this one is a 6.8% winter IPA. It's hot with Chinook, Cascade and Centennial, with a malt base of 2-row pale and caramel malts. So it should be really nice. Here on the top of the label it says, a special ale for the holidays, Celebration IPA features the first hops of the growing season. This pioneering ale is full of complex flavours and aromas from the generous use of whole cone American hops. So yeah, looks really nice. Doesn't really say much more on the back of that. It just says the American craft beer is a living product beer stored cold and enjoyed when fresh. So yeah, should be nice. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. It's got the typical kind of Sierra Nevada label style. There you can see a nice wee log cabin with the trees in the background there. Looks very, very nice. As I said, 6.8% alcohol. It's got the typical Sierra Nevada bottle cap on this one, but they're always just different colours depending on what beer you have. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, Chico, California, and Mills River, North Carolina, USA. So yeah, it doesn't actually say on the bottles which one these are brewed from, but it says imported to Europe by Fuller, Smith and Turner. So yeah, should be quite nice. Let's get this guy out then and we'll get on with the tasting. I always enjoy these Sierra Nevada beers. So yeah, nice smoky opening on this one. This beer actually was one that we just got very recently in the small portier in Systembolaget here in Sweden. It's actually quite cool. We do tend to get quite a few of the different beer camp beers from Sierra Nevada, so I always try to buy them up when they come out. So yeah, always cool to try new ones from this brewery. So as you can see, this beer's poured a really nice, kind of quite bright, I'll just bring it over here so you can maybe see the light a little bit better with it, but it always pours a really quite nice kind of coppery brown amber colour. I'll just shift the light down, see if you can see that a little bit better. There you are. There you can see the colour of that beer just a little bit better now, but it looks very, very nice, this one. There's a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, quite a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head, and there's a solid finger of a frothy, slightly creamy coloured head, I would say. It probably is fair to describe this head as creamy, and I'll just put my fingers behind it. You can see there is a degree of transparency to this beer, but overall it really is quite, it really does have a good bit of opacity to it, I guess you would say. So yeah, you can smell some of the nice fruity characters coming off this one. There's a bit of grapefruit and some of the kind of nice red fruity esters. But let's take a closer look at the aroma now then. Oh yeah, so with this one, you can smell a good bit of caramel just underpinning this one. There's a bit of bready character in there, and almost a bit of a kind of spicy note, almost like a little bit of a, not quite cakey spice, but you can definitely pick up some of these nice kind of Christmas spicy notes from this one. There's a bit of floral aromaticity in there. You're not getting so much in the way of resins. It actually comes across as a bit more fruity. Yeah, there's a wee bit of grapefruit coming out of there. But then when you sugar it up, of course, yeah, you start to get more of the resins and the floral aromaticity from this one. But the malt base is definitely a sweet, kind of, definitely a sort of sweet, kind of chewy caramel thing going on. There's a little bit of a, yeah, there's a little bit of a kind of biscuity note coming out of this as well. Like I say, the spicy character in this that's coming out makes it quite interesting. There's maybe a little bit of earthy hop coming out of the beer as well, but there is an almost, not quite cinnamon, but there is a kind of spicy element to this one. It does have a little bit of the sweetness of cinnamon, but the pine resins are coming out there, a little bit of earthiness, and the spiciness is really kind of mixing in with that, which is quite nice. But yeah, really good beer. Just enjoy the aroma a little bit before you actually try this one, because you always get something different from the Sierra Nevada beers. But let's get stuck into this one and give it a go. So this one is the Celebration Ale 2016 from Sierra Nevada over in California in America. Skål. Yeah, that's pretty good, but it's actually, you know, it's really quite different from the other IPAs that I've had from these guys. Yeah, this one, it's not quite as in your face with the hops as the Pale Ale or the Torpedo, which is quite interesting. It's interesting to see them taking a different approach to this. As your mouth adjusts to it, you know, when it comes in, it is a little bit aggressive with the hops. It comes in, you get a good bit of bitterness, but then it really just starts to smooth out. So as I always say with these beers, take a little bit of time and just sugar the beer around your palate and let your whole mouth adjust to it. But this one is nice. It's a lot, I think it's a bit less complex in flavour than some of the other ones I've had from Sierra Nevada, but at the same time it does the simple things well, and of course that's what you want. Yeah, so the middle of the palate, for me, it's coming across as a little bit kind of bready and grainy actually. There's a good bit of a kind of almost toasty grain thing to this. There's a bit of boozy caramel in there as well, but really, for me, the malt base is coming out as more of a kind of bready, grainy thing going on, and that actually, it's a kind of toasty graininess, so there's a little bit of dryness to it, but you can really feel the pine resins starting to push their way out in the aftertaste in this one. That'll be the Chinook, of course. The Chinook really gives you this big, it really gives you a big kick up the backside basically, and gives you this nice kind of pine resiny flavour, these big bitter pine resins, and the kind of grainy character that's in the malt base in this one does help blend with that, I think. But yeah, as the flavour progresses, as your mouth starts to adjust to it, you get more of a kind of caramel sweetness coming out in there. Just behind the front curve of the palate too, that's where you're getting the oily bubble, where the fruity character comes out of the beer. There is grapefruit just underpinning this, but I think there's a bit of red fruit ester on top of that. Of course, the Cascade will give you some grapefruit, and the Chinook will give you a little bit as well. And the Centennial is a kind of a sort of typical bittering hop, really, that gives you these dark floral characters. Like on the edge of the palate, you can really pick up some of this big floral aromaticity. That's sitting on top of the pine resins, but really, the big, that sort of dank, dark floral aromaticity in this one it's kind of sitting on top, but then you can feel it fade away, and it's these pine resins that are coming from the Chinook that are really kind of just underpinning this beer. They've got a nice hop blend in this one actually. I'm getting almost a little bit of earthy character in the back corner of the palate as well. Again, that mixes quite well with the pine resins. And the whole, you know, the whole point of this beer is it blends together quite well. It's less aggressive in the hops than some of the other Sierra Nevada ones are, for the Torpedo being the prime example, of course. And the fruitiness is a bit different. Of course, the really key difference to this one for me is that the malt base in this, usually the Sierra Nevada ones have a big sweet malt base. For me, it's actually coming across a bit more toasted and a bit more grainy in the malt base. There is a bit of that boozy caramel there, but it's just not as apparent in this one as it is in some of the other ones. But yeah, with the fruits, I think it's fair to say there's a bit of grapefruity character in there, just kind of underpinning it. But as the flavour progresses, you get a little bit of a figgy character coming out, and a sort of candied red fruit ester. I always say that it reminds me of the little heart-shaped sweets that you get in the Haribo Star Mix. And again, like I say, it starts to come out a little bit more as the flavour progresses. And in the middle of my palate, I'm actually feeling a little bit more bread coming out again as it progresses. Maybe just as you've got it out into the bottle, it probably starts to just warm up a little bit. And of course, that makes the malty flavours come out a wee bit more, and the hops do start to get a little bit more juicy. But I mean, overall, it's a really, really solid beer, and you wouldn't expect anything else from Sierra Nevada. And I can see, you know, this is the sort of thing that's going to go well with like a Christmas pudding or something. That's obviously what they've designed it for, but it's a really solid beer, and you wouldn't expect anything less from these guys, you know, let's just say that. And it's quite interesting as well, I think, to have an IPA where it's more of a red fruity character. Obviously you associate red fruits more with stouts and things like that, so it is quite interesting to see a kind of straight up IPA with this. I'm not getting so much in the way of the spicy character that I was picking up in the aroma. For me, it's more of a kind of toasted, grainy thing that's coming out of this one, and you can just feel that in the aftertaste. Really, the toasted grains start to come out a little bit as the palate dries out, and it's the resins that are lingering there with a wee bit of that almost earthy character that's coming out of the hops. And it's quite interesting because earthiness really isn't a characteristic of any of the hops that are in this beer actually, so that's interesting that you've just got this little kind of element coming out. It could well be just how these flavours from the hops and malts kind of develop together, but overall, like I say, very, very solid beer from Sierra Nevada, and something a bit different from the other IPAs that they produce. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say this guy is probably fair to say it's kind of mid-bodied. It's on the lighter side of mid-bodies though. It's actually quite drinkable. It feels a little heavier in alcohol than it is. You know, 6.8% is the kind of normal territory. Between 6 and 7% usually. Sometimes up to 7.5. That's kind of standard IPA territory, I would say. This one does feel a little bit heavier than it actually is, and that's just because of the way the malt base comes off. So the malt base, it has a little bit of sweetness, but for me really, it's actually coming out as more of a, as I say, that toasty, grainy character. So there's a bit more dryness to it than there is sweetness. The hops obviously have a big resinous, bitter character just lingering in there, and you've got a little bit of juicy fruits. As I say, I think there was a bit of grapefruit underpinning it, and then you start to get some of the sweeter and less dark kind of red fruits coming out, the sort of candied fruit ester, and a bit of the figgy character, especially in the aftertaste. You can feel that lingering there, but overall, you know, it's quite a nice beer. It's a bit less oily than I remember. It's got quite a wet mouthfeel, this one, so it is quite drinkable. But I guess as the beer does start to warm up, it may well become just that little bit more oily. You can feel it just thickening up a little bit just in the short time I've been drinking it, of course. But overall, it's another very, very solid beer from Sierra Nevada. I would like to try the one next year and just see if it's any different from this one. But again, it's always cool to try different things from this brewery. They never produce a bad beer. They probably wouldn't put a bad beer out at all, of course, I'm sure. But this one really is quite interesting, and it's a little bit different in feel from the other things they produce, mainly because of that malt base, in my opinion. But yeah, another really cool beer from Sierra Nevada. I'm glad that I finally got to try one of these ones, and I can see why it's quite highly rated. Of course, Americans are big, big hop heads, and of course, when this beer would have first emerged in California, the big hoppy bitterness that this one has would have gone down a treat. So if you like big, hoppy, resinous beers, then this is one you're certainly going to enjoy. If you like a nice toasty, grainy malt base as well, you're going to enjoy this beer too. And if you like those combined, then you're in heaven, of course. But yeah, really, really cool beer to review from Sierra Nevada. I'm glad I finally got around to reviewing one of their Christmas beers, so I hope you guys enjoyed the review as well. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media, but let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery in the comment section below. Always interesting to hear from you guys. Let me know the other Sierra Nevada beers that I should have a look at, actually, because there's such a big choice. It sometimes can be hard to make that choice, of course, so do let me know which ones you'd like to see. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you very soon with more beer reviews. The Celebration Ale from Sierra Nevada over in Chico, California. A really nice Christmas beer. Slange just now, and I will catch you very soon. Cheers.